All right. Hello, 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 acolytes. Welcome to the Wyvern Chronicles. I'm your host, Sarah the South Wind. I will not be joined by Izzy Fair today. Um, she unfortunately contracted COVID over the last week, so she will not. So she will be getting treatment. Um, so hopefully she'll be back next week. But for this episode, I'll be flying solo. Um, that being said, let's get. We got a lot to cover, so let's get into games. Specifically, this one. This is for any order. Um, I don't really know much about this game, so let's watch the trailer. Okay, so that was for any order. Oh, yeah, I don't need you to do that. Get out of there. Um, but yeah, um, I like the approach with this one. It's got some great monster designs. Um, it's got good level design. Um, the music is engaging. If it has online connectivity, there's potential for co-op. Um, so I think my biggest knocks on it are that it has no observable camera controls. It looks like one fixed camera angle. Um, and it doesn't look like you can move it. Um, it's top down, so I kind of feel like that diminishes the horror value a little bit because you can't really see anything with great detail. Um, it kind of feels like it's a roguelike disguised as a horror game. It does seem to have a lot more roguelike um elements than horror elements. Um, and this is kind of a pet peeve of mine. So it's not necessarily a knock on the game. It's just I don't like platform exclusive titles. The reason being that it reduces the number of players who could play it. If they don't have that platform, they can't play it. Like I don't have a PS5, so that leaves people like me who don't have a PS5 out in the dark. It does look like something I would like to play with an online with some online co-op. Um, but other than that, I have a really hard time seeing this one as a horror game. So I'm gonna give this one a thumbs down. Oh, nope. Why is that there? Get out of there. I'm gonna have to give this a thumbs down just because it it doesn't really feel like a horror game. Um, when you go when you it's got some great design. It's got some great designs, but I just feel like doing it as a top-down game kills the horror, if that makes sense. Ah. So, going on to the next one is this one. Devil's Hideout. So let's watch it. This is the Kickstarter trailer, which I like that I like to have an actual Kickstarter trailer for it, which makes it a indie game. So there's always a plus for that. Um, okay, so that was Hideout. Um, so I like the retro. I like the retro look of this game. Um, it's an indie. That's always a plus. Always a plus in my book. Um, it's only $10, so it's very low price. I like and maybe I'm a retro junkie, but I like it. I actually like pixel art games. Um, just because I know just because working in games myself, I know how working with pixel art. I know how much work goes into doing it. It's got some disturbing plot elements. And I think again, as with like it was with the first and with the last example, it's the music sets the tone really well. Um, I think my only real knock is, well, it's an indie game, so it's got a really short play time. And I don't like the whole point and click thing. 'Cause I really feel like again, it limits the place you can put it. It limits the number of platforms you can put it on. Like it has to be a PC game. If it's point and click, it has to be a PC game. I don't know if it's gonna be going on console. This one it just came out, so there's a potential that it could. There are ways to get around. There are ways to get around using a mouse on a console, but I think at the present moment it is still just for PC. Again, that goes back to being exclusive to one platform. So, but I like this approach. I might actually get this one. So I'm going to get this one a thumbs up. I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up. So yeah, I like this. I like where this is going. I might actually buy this one. I haven't decided yet. Whether I play it on stream or not, that remains to be seen. Being an indie, that's always a plus. That's always a plus in my book. Because let's face it, indies are carrying the day for the industry at the present moment. So go on to the next one. Why do you close my browser? So this is Nocturnals. Watch the trailer. Um, so yeah, that was Nocturnals. This one, it's out now. So yeah, that was the only trailer I was able to find from it. Um, but yeah, I like it. Um, I kind of like. I get where they're going with this. Um, I like that it's fully voice acted. That's honestly very hard to find with an Indian game. It's highly stylized. Um, I I believe there's co-op in this game, so that really adds to the replay value. Um, but I feel like the flat shading limits the horror elements. I mean, it looks like a game that would be better served as a mobile game. Um, not necessarily a PC or even a console game. Um, again, it's got a short playing time, so that's got to cut into its replay value. Um, I feel like there are aspects of it that could be further expanded on. Um, just from this trailer, there's really not a whole lot for me to go on. Um, like I that looked like nothing but cutscenes, so it didn't look like there was a whole lot of mm, gameplay. Um, I've I feel like I really feel like I needed to see more of the gameplay and less of the cutscenes. Um, so at present, I'm gonna give it a gentle thumbs down. Just because I don't see, I have, there's not, and I didn't really see enough in the trailer for me to conclusively say if it's worth playing. Um, but that could change. That could change. If I find any more trailers, that might change. But at present, it's going to be a gentle thumbs down. Like I say yes, like I say no. I'm kind of right in the middle. So next, we're going to do movies. Um, so let's start right off the bat with Beetlejuice. It's Russ. Watch the trailer. We might have to cut this out though. Might have to cut this up for the. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so um I like that they have Michael Keaton and Winona right back. I feel like if they didn't at least try to get Michael Keaton back to do Beetlejuice, that would have completely killed it. Um, let's face it, nobody else can do Beetlejuice. That's just not possible. Um, I like how they handled, and I like how they handled the character of Charles because of the actor that played him, which he yeah, he could take a dirt nap. But I don't like that they replaced the puppetry from the first movie with CGI. I kind of feel like that doesn't really work with Beetlejuice. I kind of feel like that would. I kind of want to see what this would look like with the traditional puppetry that they used in the first movie. Um, and this is kind of a this is kind of a personal pet peeve of mine. I don't really like them doing sequels to movies from the 80s just because there's been so much time between the two that have passed. Um, like when they did the sequel for Top Gun, that didn't make any sense to me either. But apparently it was very good. I haven't seen it myself, but this is another example. Just because most of the actors that were in the first movie were either not available have, or in some cases died. I feel like there was too much time that's gone past between the two. But I just don't like the way that they handled the CGI in this movie. I just don't. I really feel like they could have done a lot more with the CGI. If they were gonna use CGI, they could have done. They could have done a little bit more with it. Um, it was either put a little more effort into CGI or replace it with the puppetry from the first movie. Um, so I can't get. I wanted to try to like this movie, but without seeing, I haven't seen it myself yet. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't think it's in theaters anymore. So, unfortunately, I wanted this to work, but I have to give it a thumbs down. God damn it. Where is it? So I have to give it a thumbs down. It's just it's not good. It's not good at all. Um, which is a big disappointment. I really had high hopes for it, but it was a major letdown for me. Um, just by going by the trailer, I don't know if this is one that I would want to watch in a theater. I'll probably wait for it to come out on streaming, like on Amazon Prime or something. But as far as dropping the money to go and see it, I don't think I will. Um, so along, let's do VHS Beyond. This is the first trailer, I think. Trailer. Okay, so that was VHS Beyond. Um, so I'm actually a really big fan of found footage style because it brings the audience in and puts us in their world. Um, it puts the audience in their world. Um, it does a really great job of putting that, especially in the very outset. It makes the audience feel on edge because it's being done from their perspective. It's being done from the audience's perspective, which is a really great technique to use. Um, I like the monster designs. Um, I kind of feel like it was recycled Cloverfield. If that makes sense. Like it, it's a monster movie, but trying to think of the best comparison I could think of. It's like Shutter Island. It's like a zombie movie shot from POV perspective. And I feel like they put the monsters on the screen too long. That again goes back to the Predator, the later Predator movies, the later Alien movies, where they were just showing them too often. For this type for found footage, it's a lot better if you don't. I feel like it's a lot better if you don't see who the enemies are. Because the unknown is always going to be more terrifying than the known. Not knowing what's there, because then your brain starts because then your brain starts coming up with all kinds of different conclusions. Um, so I don't think showing the monsters that often really works, because then it ends up being more of a RE7 kind of thing where it ends up being a POV zombie movie, which I don't really know if found footage style works with a zombie movie. Um, so yeah, uh, I wanted to like this one, but again, I have to give it a thumbs down because I don't feel like it was necessary to put the monsters on screen that often. Um, I would have. I would have preferred it if they did it more like Cloverfield, where the monsters weren't seen as much. Um, so yeah, I have to give it a thumbs down. Um, so moving right along, let's go into Never Let Go. This is with Halle Berry, so let's go. I just get seems to get a lot of these movie types of movies. America. So yeah. Um, so yeah, I was a little bit worried when I heard that Halle Berry was in this movie, because that's not typically someone that you typically associate with a horror movie. But I really like her, but but she's a very gifted actor. Um, I love her performance in this. She resells the creep value. Um, it's got that isolated setting that I really like. Because when you're in an isolated environment, where are you gonna run to? Um, and so it kind of contains it in that one area. Um, I like the atmosphere that gets created. Um, I like the sense of helplessness that it creates. Oh, just realized, why is that still on? Get out of there. I kind of feel like I kind of feel like the industry is kind of getting oversaturated with the post apocalyptic trope. I kind of feel like that's being used too often. Because because now there's not. It's like with the zombie. It's like with the zombie genre. There's just not a whole lot of ways you can really approach that subject matter anymore. And I think it's being used too often. Like, where do we go from here? Like, how do we make this more appealing? I kind of feel like that trope is being oversaturated. Um, it. I don't want to say that it lacks realism, but I kind of feel like they could have done more to, I guess, make it more realistic. Um, I kind of feel like it's recycled Stranger Things, basically. I kind of feel like it was done by the same producers, so I guess it makes sense that they would try to use the same elements. Um, which I don't think really works for this type of, which I don't really think works for this type of movie. Um, but overall, I like it. I will. I don't think it's in theaters anymore. So I'll probably have to wait for it to come out on streaming to really watch it. So for now, I'm giving it a tentative thumbs up. Um, I like what I've seen so far. That could change if it comes out on streaming, like on Prime or something. But for now, yeah, I'm giving it a tentative thumbs up. Now, I'm not just gonna be a negative wet blanket on all this, because I'm not gonna just give thumbs down to everything. So let's move on to shows. Um, so let's start off with American Horror Story Season 3. Let's watch the trailer. Okay, that was season 13 of American Horror Stories. Um, so I kind of like it. Kind of it's I like that it's an anthology series. I'm actually a big fan of anthologies because they're self-contained and not part of one big story. It's like scary stories to tell at bedtime. That's the kind of vibes that I get from this. That I get from this. Um, it's got a great sound design. And that's the one thing I can't say that has stayed fairly consistent with this series is that it has great sound design. I like that this series season is apparently centered around a child actor, which is really hard to pull off with a horror in a horror setting. Because if you want it to work, they have to be convincing. And with child actors, with child actors, it's pretty much monkey see, monkey do. They just pretty much repeat. They just pretty much copy what the director tells them to do. The director literally has to show them what to say and do, and then they just repeat it. But for this, I really like what I'm seeing with the child acting in this. Because again, in a horror setting, that's really really tough to pull off, and have it not be like a goosebumps thing. Um, and having child actors in a horror setting really sells the creep value. It's got a really compelling story that that the storytelling is actually pretty good, but I kind of feel like it's still just recycling tropes from the earlier seasons. It's kind of plateauing at this point because I think it's been going too long. Because with any long running series, it's tough to make it fresh and interesting. It's like what happened with Simpsons and Family Guy. They just the more recent seasons just don't land as well as the earlier seasons do. Because I feel like it's just been running too long. Um, it's probably gonna come to an end at some point. Um, Again, this is another. I really feel like this is another attempt to be another Stranger Things. Um, I kind of feel like they need to. I feel like they're kind of trying to copy what Stranger Things has, in the superficial adding of monsters, which I don't really feel like is necessary for this. Um, so as a whole, I like the series, but I have to give this season a thumbs down. Um, mainly just because I think it's just been going too long, and they're not really trying to make it fresh or interesting. I really feel like they need to do if they're gonna continue this. I hope the next season does something different because every subsequent season seems to be doing the same thing. They need to change something. I like that they have different casts for each season, but that's about the only thing they change. So that being said, yeah, I have to give at least this season a thumbs down. Um, right along. Let's do Evil, which I didn't know. I didn't know that this had several seasons. It's already on season 4. I believe this is the last season, though. So let's watch the trailer. Yeah, this is the final season. So yeah, this came out in May actually. Um, so that being said, I actually like the Silent Hill imagery that it has. Um, I really that really creates a great environment. Um, which is what you need for for this type of movie. It's got some great monster designs. Um, it's got excellent sound design, which that's one thing Paramount does actually excel in is sound design. Um, so that's kind of the only good things I could really say about this. I kind of feel like I get straight into Bayonetta territory, where it leans too much into the religious imagery and concepts or elements rather. Um, which it needed to lean more into the horror elements and not so much the religious elements. Um, I didn't really see from the just from what I've seen from the trailer, it doesn't really look like there's any real true horror elements. It's kind of more Pan's Labyrinth, where the horror is mainly focused on specific characters and not really the overall plot. Um, there's no real sense of urgency or tension. Um, like there's there's no why did they have to do this? What is the final goal here? What are you trying to prevent? And I don't really feel like that was developed enough. Um, um, again, it kind of feels like Silent Hill in another costume, basically. It's got a lot of the same elements as Silent Hill, but it doesn't really accomplish it. Um, again, and there's no sense of tension, none. There's like it doesn't. Why do they have to? Why are these characters doing this? What is the final goal here? What are you trying to accomplish? I don't really feel like they've developed that enough. Um, so for this, I think I had to give this a thumbs down. Um, I just I don't really I don't really feel like it was a horror movie so much as it was uh, what's the best comparison? I can't even think of the best comparison for it. I don't think they tried hard enough for this season. This is supposed to be the final season, so I think I would have to go back and watch the earlier seasons to have a real impression. Again, I didn't know that this had several seasons to it, so I think I would have to go back to watch a couple of the earlier seasons to really have a full grasp of the season of the show. Um, but I feel like it leaned too much into the religious elements and not so much the horror elements. Um, I maybe that's just my observation, but I I just have a hard time seeing it as being a true horror series. Um, so that said, let's move on to the last. This should be the last one, I believe. Is Teacup. Let's watch the trailer. Mm, So yeah, that was Teacup. Um, I like again. I like the isolated setting. Because again, if you're being chased by a deranged killer, where are you gonna run? Um, I like the great. I like the feeling. I like the feeling of tension it has because as as, uh, as opposed to was in the previous example, there is actually great sense of tension in this one. Um, because they have an actual thing that they're trying to prevent. Uh, I love the creepy imagery. Um, yeah, I like the acting. The acting is great. Um, I guess if I have any knocks on this, is that it's trying to be a combination of a silent place and the mist. Which mist was great. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite Stephen King novellas. Um, that was always creepy. That was always really creepy to me because again, I like it better when you don't know who the killer is. Um, I kind of feel like this kind of goes more into silent place than the mist. It's trying to combine those two tropes, which I don't know if it really succeeds at either of those. Um, no, overall, it- I guess a better comparison would probably be the Storm of the Century. That had about that was kind of the same premise. Except that there are monsters in this one, as opposed to an ageless warlock, if that's what you call that. Um, but overall, I gotta say, I like it. Um, so I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It's on Peacock, so um, which there's nothing else on Peacock that I'm really willing to spend any money on. So this is probably as far as I'm gonna be able to go with this. But I like the premise. And I like that I like how well they did this. They did isolating the characters because that's always going to be a terrifying prospect. Like, if you're trapped, how are you going to escape? So yeah, this has been an episode of the Wyvern Chronicles. Um, yeah, if you haven't already, um, please subscribe. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel or listen to us on Spotify. Um, new episodes drop every Sunday. Uh, and hopefully we will be joined next week with by Izzy. Um, as far as this episode goes, I will see you in the next episode. This has been Wyvern Chronicles. I'm your host, Terry the Southwind. Goodbye.